Remove the 4 bolts that hold down the starter shroud. Remove the starter shroud. Disconnect the stop switch wires at their connectors. Slide down the rubber boot from the spark plug cap and unscrew the cap. Remove the rubber boot from the spark plug wire. Remove the 2 bolts that hold down the armature. Remove the armature while noticing where the spark plug wire is routed. Disconnect the stop switch wire from the coil. Place the red lead into the volt-ohm slot and the black lead into the common slot. Place the meter into the ohms position. Place the red lead onto the stop switch connector and the black lead onto any metal surface of the coil. Primary side resistance should be 0.8 to 1 ohm. Place the red lead into the end of the spark plug wire and the black lead anywhere on the metal surface. Secondary winding resistance should be between 5.9 and 7.1 k ohms. To measure resistance in the spark plug cap, place the red probe on the end where the plug goes and the other end where the spark plug wire screws in. The spark plug cap resistance should be between 7.5 and 12.5 k ohms. If the measurements are out of spec, the cap must be replaced. Place 1 lead on the stop switch connector. Place the other lead on any unpainted surface on the starter shroud. With the switch in the off position, there should be a resistance value shown. With the switch in the run position, there should be no value shown. Insert a large flat tip screwdriver in the slots on the starter cup and remove the flywheel nut. Remove the starter cup and plastic air vane. Thread the correct thread protector on the end of the crankshaft. Use a large flat tip screwdriver to put outward pressure on the flywheel while striking the protector with a brass hammer. Remove the flywheel from the crankshaft. Remove the flywheel key and inspect it for damage. Also, inspect the keyway on the crankshaft for damage. Install the flywheel key on the crankshaft. It may need to be tapped in with a soft face hammer. Line up the flywheel key on the crankshaft with the keyway on the flywheel and install the flywheel. Install the plastic vane over the flywheel, making sure the 4 lugs on the back of the vane assembly line up with the holes on the flywheel. Install the starter cup over the vane assembly, making sure the holes on the cup and the lug on the cup aligns with the hole in the flywheel, and the 3 lugs on the vane align with the holes in the cup. While making sure that the holes in the starter cup are still aligned, install the flywheel nut. Torque the flywheel nut to 54 foot-pounds. Route the coil high tension lead so it doesn't interfere with any governor linkages. Install the stop switch wire onto the coil. Install the 2 coil bolts finger tight. Pull the coil all the way up and lightly snug the bolts down. Rotate the flywheel so the magnet is not under the coil. The air gap between the coil and flywheel is 8 to 16 thousandths of an inch. Place a non-magnetic gauge between the coil and flywheel, push down on the coil, and torque the bolts to 84 inch-pounds. Route the spark plug wire under the vent hose and connect the vent hose to the air cleaner. Put a small amount of lubricant on the end of the coil wire and slide the rubber boot over the wire about an inch down. Screw on the spark plug cap until it stops, then slide the rubber boot onto the cap. Connect the plug wire to the spark plug. Install the starter shroud and the 4 bolts that secure it to the engine. Torque the 4 bolts to 84 inch-pounds, then reconnect the stop switch wires.